Okay, so you ever just like stand there in the sunscreen aisle totally overwhelmed?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
SPF 1530, 5100, and then there's like broad spectrum, water resistant, reef safe. It's like I need a whole PhD just to buy sunscreen.
Seriously, it's like every year there are more and more options, and
Yep.
not always in a good way.
Right. Exactly. But don't worry, we're diving deep into all things sunscreen today, specifically all the changes the FDA has been making.
Yeah, we're going to break down all the potential changes they've been proposing, which
Yeah.
could impact like everything from how sunscreen is labeled to what you're actually even allowed to put in the bottle.
No more squinting at that tiny ingredient list trying to decode what it all means.
We got you.
We're going to make you a sunscreen expert.
That's right. Knowledge is power, right?
Absolutely. Okay, so to kick things off, can you give us a little background? Like, why is the FDA suddenly so interested in sunscreen? What's going on here?
So it actually goes back a few years, back in 2020 in the CARES Act. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was mostly about pandemic relief. Well, there was this whole section in there about giving the FDA more authority over over-the-counter drugs.
Oh, interesting. So, like, under the radar.
Yeah, basically while everyone was distracted, the FDA was quietly put in charge of sunscreen,
Gotcha.
and they got right to work. In September of 2021, they issued this proposed order, and it was basically like their sunscreen wish list.
Wow. So, this wasn't like a few small changes. This is like a whole overhaul.
Exactly. Everything from how they want SPF to be displayed to which ingredients they even think are safe and effective. And the really cool thing is that the FDA actually like opened it up for public comment. So scientists, sunscreen companies, even regular people could give their 2 cents.
Oh, that's awesome. They really wanted to hear what people thought. So, what happened next? Did they listen to all that feedback or were they like, thanks, but no thanks?
So right now they're reviewing all that feedback, and that's actually what we're taking a look at today. Kind of a sneak peek into what the future of sunscreen might look like.
Yeah. Ooh, I like it. A little glimpse into the future. Okay, I am definitely intrigued. Ready to dive into some of these potential changes.
Let's do it. I think you'll find some of these pretty interesting.
Okay, so let's talk SPF. Um, it's like the first thing you notice on a bottle of sunscreen. And the FDA is proposing some changes to how SPF is labeled. So right now we've got SPF topping out at 50 plus, but they're thinking about raising that to 60 plus. So is this like the era of mega SPF? Does a higher number actually even mean more protection?
Right, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, it's easy to think SPF 60 plus, it's got to be like twice as good as 30, right?
right.
But it doesn't really work that way.
Okay, so break it down for us.
So SPF measures how long it takes for your skin to burn with sunscreen compared to without it.
Hmm.
So like SPF 30 theoretically means it takes 30 times longer to burn. But here's the thing. After a certain point, the increase in protection isn't that significant.
So going from 50 to 60 isn't really that big of a difference.
Exactly. Like it's not going to make you invincible to the sun or anything.
Right.
The biggest thing is that no matter what SPF you use, how often you apply it and how well you apply it matters way more than just like chasing a higher number.
So it's kind of like having a really fancy car doesn't mean you can just ignore the speed limit.
Exactly.
You still have to be smart about it.
Yeah, exactly. Consistent and correct application. That's what matters most.
Yeah.
Like every 2 hours and reapplying after you've been swimming or sweating,
Yeah,
that's the real key, no matter what the SPF is.
that makes sense. Okay, let's move on to another big one. Broad spectrum. I feel like I see that everywhere, but I'm not really sure everyone even knows what it means.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those terms that gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah.
But it's super important. Basically, broad spectrum just means that the sunscreen protects you from both UVA and UVB rays.
Okay.
Think of it this way. UVB rays, those are the main culprits behind sunburns. You
Mhm.
know, that like immediate redness.
Yeah.
UVA rays, on the other hand, they go deeper into your skin. And those are the ones that can lead to wrinkles and premature aging and even skin cancer.
So it's not just about the painful burn, it's about protecting your skin in the long run.
Exactly. And that's why the FDA is proposing that any sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher has to be broad spectrum. They want to make sure people are covered on all fronts, not just thinking about the sunburn part.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's talk ingredients for a second. Every sunscreen seems to have its own special blend of like chemicals and minerals. What does the FDA say should and shouldn't be in our sunscreen?
Yeah, so they're actually being really strict about this. Out of the 16 most common sunscreen ingredients, they gave two a big thumbs up. Zinc oxide and titanium dioxide.
Hmm.
Those are mineral sunscreens. And the FDA is saying those are safe and effective.
So those were the ones to look for.
So far, yeah, it's looking good for those two. Now, on the other hand, they've got some concerns about two others, PDA and trolamine salicylate. They're saying those are not safe and effective based on what they know right now.
Oh, wow. So are those going to be banned from sunscreen?
It's possible. It's not totally off the table. The companies that make those ingredients can still submit more data to prove they're safe and effective, but it's definitely something to watch out for. And then for the other 12 ingredients, the FDA still needs more information before they can make a decision.
Wow. So it seems like they're really being careful, really taking a close look at what's going into these products we're putting all over our skin.
Absolutely. And they're also committed to making those sunscreen labels easier to understand.
Right. Because honestly, sometimes I need like a magnifying glass and a dictionary just to make sense of them.
I know, it's like, what am I even looking at?
Hmm.
So the FDA wants to make some big changes to those labels. First, they want to list the active ingredients in alphabetical order right on the front.
Oh, I like that.
No more tiny print. No more trying to hide ingredients in the back.
Yeah. All ingredients are created equal.
Right. Plus, they want the SPF number and the broad spectrum claim to be bigger and bolder.
Yeah.
So you can tell exactly what you're getting. And here's another good one. Sunscreens with an SPF lower than 15 are going to need a warning right on the front saying they don't offer enough protection.
Ooh, I like that. It's like a heads up. Don't even bother with this one.
Right. It's all about making things clearer for the consumer.
So clearer labels, alphabetical ingredients, bigger SPF numbers. I'm like ready to go sunscreen shopping now. Anything else big we haven't talked about yet?
Oh, yeah. There's one more you might find interesting. It has to do with those like combo products, the ones that have both sunscreen and bug spray in them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The FDA is talking about banning those.
Whoa, really? Why is that? Are they not safe?
It's not really about safety. It's
Yeah.
more that they might not be that effective. And they could be confusing for consumers.
Hmm.
Like, you're supposed to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours, right?
Mhm.
Especially if you're swimming or sweating. But bug spray usually lasts way longer.
Oh.
So if you're using one of those combo products and you're only reapplying it like you would bug spray, you might not be getting enough sunscreen.
Oh, that makes sense. Like you're trying to do two things at once and it's not really working.
Exactly.
Okay. You know, something I've been thinking about lately is how some sunscreen ingredients can be bad for the environment. Like I keep seeing all these studies about what's harming coral reefs. Did the FDA consider any of that when they were making these changes?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's a really complicated issue.
Mm.
Honestly, the stuff we looked at today didn't really have a clear answer about whether or not the FDA is thinking about the environmental impact.
Okay, so that's still kind of a mystery, I guess. But it's something to think about, right? Just because something is safe for our skin doesn't necessarily mean it's good for the planet.
Exactly. It's all connected.
So to wrap things up, it sounds like the FDA is making some really big changes in the sunscreen world.
Yeah, they're definitely stepping up their game.
Higher SPF limits, clearer labels, making sure everything is broad spectrum.
Yeah.
Seems like they're really trying to give us the information we need to make good choices about protecting our skin.
Totally.
Ah.
And even though these changes aren't official yet, it's clear that the FDA is taking this seriously. They want to keep people safe, and they want to make sure everything is transparent.
That's awesome. No more squinting at labels trying to figure out what's what.
Right.
So next time you're at the store staring at that wall of sunscreen, remember this conversation. Think about those ingredients, what's in there, what's not, and choose wisely.
You've got the power. Protect your skin.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's it for today's deep dive into the world of sunscreen. We covered a lot, but like we said, there's always more to learn. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay sun safe.